Hi, folks. This is Rick Doc Walker, the DOC.
This is John Kime, and you're listening to the Mess Hall with Rally Captain and Tailgate Ted.
What's going on, Rally? We got one more left, man.
Dude, I'm looking forward to it. Win, lose, or even tie. I really am. Let's get it, bro.
I hear you, man. I mean, I actually had someone on X, and can't believe I actually just called it that, but someone on X saying, you cry and whine too much. And I do appreciate this guy for following me. I don't know why he follows me if he says I cry and whine too much. He's like, you can just stay home. You don't have to go there. And I'm going to tell him, just like I tell everybody else, we get 10 guaranteed games a year. That's it. And one or two of those is preseason. So as long as I'm breathing, God willing, I'm going to be at every single one of them.
Yep.
And you're even better than me, man. You're going to all the away games. So, I mean, hats off to you and all the other Commanders, Washington, whatever you want to call us fans that have been making those road trips because, shoot, I know it wasn't easy going up to New York and watching that debacle, even though we actually almost won that game. But, yeah, I'm going to be surrounded by 60,000 people that I probably hate on Sunday.
Exactly.
It's going to be a sea of silver and blue.
Yeah,
and
man.
I am not looking forward to it, but there is no other place I would rather be on an NFL game day, man. And that's just me.
Not only that, bro, but have you listened to what the weather's supposed to be like? They're saying we may get some snow.
They're actually, so I was just messaging on Twitter, still not going to call it X, with one of the meteorologist friends of mine on Fox. I think Sunday, we're supposed to be good now. I think everything's supposed to be bad on Saturday. So Sunday, it's actually looking pretty good. It's just going to rain on me as I'm getting all my stuff done for the tailgate. But yeah, no one really cares about that.
Yeah, we don't care about you slaving and cooking and stuff. Like we just want to show up to eat. So, but no, that's terrible, man. That's not good at all. You know. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that this thing will blow past us like they're saying that this wintry mix is going to do. Because I honestly thought that we was going to be pretty bad because I heard a lot of people talking about that, and of course, you know, any excuse to sell your ticket. Oh, the weather's gonna be bad. So I got 2 tickets for sale and a parking pass. So it's like, wait a minute, don't use the weather as an excuse. Just go ahead and say you don't want to go.
Yeah, you don't want to go. You ain't trying to fool anybody. Your car has tires. You can still drive. Metro's a sponsor. You can show up and take the Metro if you wanted to. So just say the team is we're 4 and what? 4 and 12 right now? I mean, that's why you don't want to go.
Yeah, 4 and infinity. How about that? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know what a record is anymore, man. That's how bad it is right now.
Yeah. And the only reason why we're laughing is because we can. This is our team. We can do that. You guys, all you haters out there that think that, oh, we got to always say good things. And no, we can say bad things as well. We paid money into this. This is basically our team. You know, if this is Green Bay Packers, we'd be stockholders, which I already feel that I am one, even though I'm not. But hey, I bought into this, so I can laugh, I can cry, I can do anything that I would like because I'm a participant.
Yeah, it's like if someone tells you your baby's ugly, that's not okay. I can say my baby's ugly, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But if it's coming from someone else, like one of the 60,000 Cowboys fans I'm going to see at Fedex Field on Sunday, no, they can't tell me that, even though everyone in the world knows that our baby is ugly. I mean, this thing is fugly from head to toe, but you know what? She's getting some plastic surgery on January 8th, and we're going to be good. And hey, Dallas is going to the playoffs. We can't stop them. We can spoil their day, but they're still going to the playoffs. Yeah. So are we really hurting anything? But before we jump into that, I do have to thank Mike from Don't Sleep Energy. So Mike saved my ass because do you guys have any New Year's Eve traditions that you and Mrs. Rowley do?
Let me tell you something. To be a short answer to that, no. And speaking of New Year's, I fell asleep. And and I didn't wake up until about 12:30. So I missed everything. I even set an alarm, Ted. That's how bad it was. I even set an alarm for 11:40, and I was so tired after the game. I was under the weather. I was so tired from the game and then getting home and everything. And I set the alarm. I said, because I know I'm gonna fall asleep. I sure did. And I woke up. The alarm clock went off at 11:40, and I was like, "Why is this alarm clock going off?" And I turned it off, and then I woke up because I exactly because I heard fireworks, gunshots, whatever you want to call it, and that's what woke me up. And I was like, "Oh my God!" And then I started sending out messages, man. So yeah,
Yeah,
so
you
now,
texted me, I think around 12:30, and I was already passed out. So the second I got back from FedEx at about 7 o'clock.
hmm
I I don't get to smoke victory cigars anymore. So I had a "We Didn't Lose by 17" cigar in the parking lot by myself, and I'm just hanging out there. And I'm probably one of the last cars to leave the parking lot. And I
hmm
got home at 7. The first thing I did when I walked through the door was I set my alarm for 11:45 p.m. to make sure I didn't pull a rally and oversleep. And then I've got a fridge in my garage for all the tailgate food. So I cracked that thing open and grabbed 2 Don't Sleep Energies and took those things to the head. Because like Mrs. Tailgate is going to be salty because she likes to stay up. And I texted you and told you we watched the Nashville New Year's Eve ball drop. And everyone that listens to the show knows how much I love country.
I know you
So,
do.
oh man, I needed every ounce of that "Don't Sleep" to just stomach and just stay awake through that entire thing. And at midnight, so she has this thing that she's been doing with some of her friends since college. I guess they're Spanish, and you have to eat 12 grapes between 12 o'clock and 12:01,
Hmm.
and it's going to give you 12 months of good luck. And if you don't do it by 12:01, then you're going to have, I don't know how many months of bad luck for how many grapes you didn't eat. So 1 year, shoot.
Uh, you mean one at a time, or just pick 12 up and just shove them in your mouth?
As many as you can just chow down to make sure you finish it within that first minute of the new
Oh,
year.
okay.
So it's doable, but
Yeah,
one
yeah.
year your boy messed up. So
Uh-oh.
she left me in charge of buying the grapes. And I wasn't really paying attention to details. I just bought the cheapest grapes that I saw. Well, they weren't seedless, they were seeded grapes. And almost choked on these damn things because I'm trying to sit there and scarf them down. And I'm eating the
Oh,
seeds at the same time. And ever since then, she's like, this is the only thing I care about on New Year's. I don't even care about the champagne and this and that. We just got to eat these grapes. Because believe it or not, she's superstitious when it comes to that. And I'm superstitious when it comes to the Commanders. So it balances out. But thank God for Mike because he helped me stay
yeah.
awake through all of that honky tonk, whatever the hell that was on TV. Meanwhile, I'm at my fantasy football championship and I'm losing by 2 points. All I wanted to do was just watch the game, but it worked out, man. So for any of you out there, make sure you give Don't Sleep Energy a follow on all your social media. Go on his website,
Definitely.
use promo code DMV Mess Hall. He's a big supporter of the show, supports us, supports the sports junkies, but just a bunch of shows out there, and he's choosing to help your boys out. So we really appreciate it, Mike, man.
Yeah, Mike, I greatly appreciate it. I dropped the ball. I can admit it. Hey, I did, and I'm sure that if I had some don't sleep, I would have been up. But I just wasn't. I was tired, bro. People don't realize realistically. Well, yes, I assume that a lot of people do that go to the games that it's an all day event basically, and so depending on how far you got to drive, once you get to your final resting spot, you're tired and your body just gives out on you. And so that's what happened to me. So Mike, my hat goes off to you once again. I greatly appreciate it because you did save me last week against when I went to the Jets driving up to New York or New Jersey, excuse me, because the Yorkers can't stand that when you say that. So to New Jersey. All right. You saved my butt. So hey, we're all good. And you will be redeemed Friday because I'm gonna need it. It's gonna be an all day affair when me and Ted get together. Yeah, looking forward to that.
I'm looking forward to it too, man. We're going to be out at the Caps game. If anyone listening is going to be at the Caps game, shoot us a tweet, send us a message, see if we can meet up with you guys. Love to catch up with some listeners in person. It'll be a good time. We don't got to worry about the Commanders losing on Friday. So, we'll have some fun. But
Yeah.
do you have a Fitbit? Because you're walking around FedEx Field. Like, how much do you walk on a game day?
You know what? I need to go back and actually look at the computer and see what I've done. I don't have a Fitbit per se, but I do have a smart watch, if you will. And I'm not going to give any names because they're not a sponsor of ours. So when they
I'd
become a
love it if
sponsor,
Apple was a sponsor, but yeah, that's not happening.
me too. But no, and it's not Apple. Okay, it's one of their competitors. I'll say
You're an
that.
Android man. I know. It's good.
That's
I,
right.
I
You
caved
switch,
in.
you switched over to the dark side. Hey, I'm good. I'm good. So it's being a rebel. But so I'm gonna actually have to look. But for those that don't know, my day actually starts at I get boots on the ground at FedEx probably around 9:30 ish, if you will, starting the red zone lot, and from the
Straggler.
red zone.
You're late.
Yeah, yeah. Well, hey, I can't do much of anything. I'm not preparing any food or anything. My job is to show up and say hello to everyone and kiss babies, and shake hands and take selfies. That's my job. But I get there about 9:30, and by that time everyone's set up, obviously, and I just start my trek and I go through the lots, and it's really amazing when I pull into the red zone lot from years past to this year. Before, there weren't hardly any cars in the red zone lot, but this year, every time I've pulled into the red zone lot, I'd say at least 15 spaces before the exit, there are cars that are just jam packed in this place, and so it lets me know that they're doing something right, because you know they are the lot is pretty full. And even the ride share, they got that new ride share that took a part of the red zone lot away, but that thing is full as well. So the team is doing some things correct, obviously. So
Yeah,
I'm
there
not
are.
sure.
I mean,
Yeah,
people are showing up. I mean, they're
yeah,
not all Commanders fans, and we'll
no,
definitely get into that. But for those that don't know, the red zone lot is a tailgate lot that the team created a handful of years ago. And the
hmm
parking spaces are twice the size of the regular parking space.
yeah,
So it gives you more room to tailgate. On top of that, it opens an hour earlier than all the other lots in the stadium. So a lot of people like it. It's more time to drink, more time to eat, more time to set up and hang out versus
yeah.
the other lots where by the time you set up, you got to kind of shut down. So it's definitely a popular spot. And then with that being said, a lot of opposing fans have been buying passes in that lot for whatever reason, because if you just do tailgating FedEx Field, it shows up as that's a lot to be in.
Yeah, I will say that there were a lot of Jets fans. Jets. Listen to me.
Niners.
There were a lot of Niners fans that were in the red zone lot, but I don't mind it. I mean, because when I go to an away stadium, I want to be able to see our squad representing in a lot. So I don't mind it at all. I'm maybe one of the few people who can truly appreciate a fan coming to FedEx Field, an away fan coming to FedEx Field to experience it, whether it's bad or good. Just the fact that they decided to take the plunge and come to FedEx Field and see their squad play, because a
Well, you
lot of
can
our
blame them though for our season ticket prices going up, because one of the
yeah,
reasons was we've been sold out. So that's why our prices went up.
okay.
I
You
mean,
would think it.
I hear
You
you.
would
I
think it.
don't,
You would think if we were sold out, the prices would go down a little bit.
or
But
drop them so your season ticket holders and more people can afford them. But that's a story for another pod during the off season. But
oh, we and
I
we
hear you.
we're gonna have a good off season.
January 8th.
Oh
It's
yeah.
coming. But how were the lots when you're walking around? So as you're making your trek around, you got there at 9:30, so you're a little bit late. They've been drinking there since 8. I mean, were there a bunch of Niners fans? Because I only saw my section. So I'm in Orange G, and you're on the other side of the stadium. I'm kind of halfway between
Okay.
you and then making your way completely around. I mean, what
That-
was it like walking around this week?
Good question. Good question. So the red zone lot, there were a lot of Niners fans, no doubt about it. But as I made my way throughout the lot, it started to become more burgundy and gold, which everyone can appreciate. And then I made my way after I saw you. I made my way down by where the buses park, and yes, I walk all the way down
You
there.
went all the way down to that bus RV lot from where I
I,
was.
I do it almost every week, and so that's when the huge amounts of 49ers fans were walking up, and forgive me, I can't think of the street name, but that street there
Sean
coming
Taylor Road.
Sean Taylor Road, that street there is where I don't know where they're parking, and they're not taking buses. They're not all taking buses. They're walking from someplace coming up that road.
I'll
And
tell you exactly
shot,
what it is.
what is it?
There's a premium tailgate party right there at that strip mall. And
Ah,
they sell tickets for that tailgate party.
okay.
So it's called Premium Tailgate Party. Anybody can find it on StubHub, and they charge $150 to $300 a ticket. And
Wow.
it's 3 hours, all inclusive food, open bar, beer, liquor, drinks, DJ, and games.
But that's off property, you're saying?
It's off property right there off of Sean Taylor Road before you get to FedEx property. It's
Yeah.
right there. So a bunch of, because it's posted on StubHub. So a bunch of away
Okay.
team fans, they reach out to me and ask if they can join me. And unfortunately, no. I saved my spots for Commanders fans, Washington fans.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you're coming with Washington fans, that's a different story. But you have these ticket brokers that have set up shop out there. That's where they all walk from. So they
Ah,
where
that
Brightseed and Sheriff Road intersect
gotcha.
right there, right at that shopping
Gotcha.
mall. That's where it is.
I had no clue, bro. Because I
Yeah.
would always wonder where are all these people walking from, because I didn't see a tremendous amount of buses coming in, and so shout out to the Diesel, by the way. The Diesel bus, he
Oh, it's back?
no, it's not back.
Okay.
He said he'll be back next year or later this year, but I just figured I'd give DK a shout because he throws a good tailgate as well. But they weren't there, but I always walked that way. And so now I understand why so many opposing fans are coming up from the I never understood that.
Yeah.
But
They
I
hang out there.
I
$150
get it.
for all that. But yeah, I mean, and like you said, we travel to away games. So it's fun going to an away game. I got to hang out with Tailgate Joe, probably the best experience I've had on the road in quite some
Hmm.
time. And it's out who we play next year on the road. And I can tell you right now, I'm going to Tampa Bay.
Yep.
I'm hopefully going to Cincinnati to hang out with
Oh
my
yeah.
bomb squad people and maybe New Orleans. I'm not the biggest fan of New Orleans, but Tim Meek can probably talk me into it. You guys can probably talk me into it, but those are the three I think I'm going to do.
Oh yeah. And see, I'm especially hyped about Cincinnati because that's a stadium where I haven't been as of yet. And if the last time we played Cincinnati and they were considered the home team, we played them in London.
Oh, yeah,
So
2016.
that there you go. So I'm really looking forward to playing Cincinnati in Cincinnati, unless they do to us what they did in London and make Cincinnati the home team in Spain or somewhere foreign. I'll take that. I'll go again.
So the rumor is they're taking away a home game from us because
Uh,
we have 9 home games next year.
ah,
So since we have 9, they take the extra home game away and make that an overseas game. That's the rumor
okay.
floating around. That's what's been told to a couple Commanders fans that live in Europe, the UK, overseas. So I'm trying to save some money for that, trying to figure that out. Don't know how all that's going
Oh,
to go.
brother. Oh,
So
brother. The wheels are
just
turning on the SB event side, brother.
make sure everyone gets their passports now because it's going to take some time. And then you check out SB events when you're looking to do it because I'm not missing the trip. That's why I'm trying to say, figure all this out. And no offense to New Orleans, I was there hanging out with Emerald earlier this year. It'll be fun, but I'm sorry, I'm saving my money for Europe if we're actually making a trip out there. So, something to look
Yeah,
forward to next year.
and definitely. And because if that's the case, they actually announced those games a little earlier so that you can save. So you won't hear that name. If by chance we do play overseas, you won't have to wait until May or April to find that out. That'll be you'll be notified. We as a fan base or the general public will be notified a little earlier because they want the fans to be able to experience that, and they know that it's going to cost a little bit extra chips, especially with season tickets going up the way that they have.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be pricey to go out there. But those that didn't get a chance to go to London, it was just such a fun time, just taking over that pub downtown and just walking around London and just seeing all the Commanders fans out there. I highly recommend it if you can afford to do it, or if you can't, maybe just put down a big chunk of change on the Cowboys this weekend on the money line, because I have a feeling it's going to hit. Because I didn't hit a single one of my bets last week, man. It pissed me off. And did you put any in on the Niners?
Well, yes, I did, but I parlayed, and you know as well as I do that when you parlay and one leg doesn't hit, you jack yourself up. Now, this
Let me guess
been...
which leg. Christian McCaffrey. Yeah, that was my leg too.
Yeah. So, bro, I was saddened because this would have been. I had a nice little parlay, and it would have paid dividends, and we're talking monopoly money type of dividends, and so it didn't pan out. So I'm kind of a little gun shy. That's all it takes is one good time, one good time, and you'll become gun shy. And so yeah.
I'm right there with. So I brought my boy Cody Betts to the game. Do you remember B. Mitch and Finley? Their old producer, Cody.
Yeah.
That used to be. So Cody's a huge Niners fan. Ended up, as soon as the schedule came out, said, dude, I got this ticket for you. You'll be my guest. Love to have you come out. Haven't seen Cody in a long time. So Cody came with me to the game. He's got his Bosa, jersey on and this and that. And he gets to the seats before me. And it took me a while to clean up because we had a bunch of people at the tailgate. It was maybe our smallest tailgate of the season, but we had a bunch of people there. And I finally made it with like 2 minutes before kick. And they were giving Cody a hard time, thinking he like beat me up. He's a big dude and he stole my ticket or something. But I had to text him. I was like, no, he's good. He's good. And then I had a bunch of the older Commanders fans give me a hard time because I was pulling for Christian McCaffrey at anytime touchdown score. Right? I'm pulling for George Kittle. Kittle to go over. I had Ayuk. I didn't want to touch Debo because Debo was banged up going into the game. It's like just those three guys. That's all I needed. And then McCaffrey is on the sideline, and you see him, and he has his helmet, but he doesn't go back in. Like, what are you doing, dude? You're killing me now.
We're on the same page.
So it was just that was frustrating. The other frustrating thing was I'm thinking it was 70-30 Niners fans. I mean, it's tough because of the jersey colors.
Yeah.
But I just felt that there were so many more of them than us. I almost want to say it was somewhat equal to the Dolphins fans coming to town and just taking over.
I think honestly, man, that it was probably I'd say 50-ish Commanders and pretty much 50-ish 49er fans. If not, roughly even, or it may have been maybe, how about 55 Commanders and 45 Niners. I mean, if you want to look at that, I mean, because we did have a lot of burgundy and gold in the stands, but my God, there was a lot of doggone, I guess, burgundy and crimson, whatever you want to call it, the cream, whatever that color is that they have. So and I took a video of it, and I just didn't post it. I haven't, for whatever reason, I just haven't been in the mood to post a lot of my experiences. but I think what I'm going to do is just do a photo dump later on and just download everything, because I still have a lot of pictures from LA that I didn't download. I mean, so the Jets. I mean, obviously I took a picture of you and what's your buddy's name?
Tim.
Tim. Yeah, Tim. I was gonna say Ted, but it's not Tim. That's you're Ted. So yeah, I was gonna I sent you guys that picture, but man, I it was a lot of people there, and
they were loud too, man. That was the thing. It's like, if you guys listen to it on TV, I heard people telling me they could hear the Niners fans just chanting defense the entire, just back and forth. And if the Niners won that game and Philly lost, which they did, the Niners clinched the NFC, and they clinched it versus us. And I mean, the last time we talked to our listeners, Jacoby was supposed to start. And
yes,
all of a sudden, here comes Friday. And tell me if you agree with me. I think Jacoby's agent called him up, didn't text him because he doesn't want evidence of this, but he called him up, said, Jacoby, you've done good. You're going to get paid after this year. Don't risk going up there with all these linemen out, up against Bosa, up against Chase, all these other guys, and potentially get hurt and then not get paid this offseason. And pretend your hammy's banged up. And then all of a sudden, Sam's starting after getting benched.
Yeah. And your back, hamstring, calf, those are one of the hardest injuries to detect or to say that you're lying or not, so to speak. So who knows? And I agree with you because Ted, I'll be honest with you, and if you go back and our listeners can vouch for this, I said that he gave us a better opportunity to beat the 49ers, and I believe that we would have been a little closer because now maybe they would have stepped on the gas, maybe depending on how he played, but they didn't really show me anything. They didn't. They really didn't. Yes, they won the game, but it wasn't like it was, to me, just a beat down. And I believe that Kobe would have given us a better opportunity to put more points on the board based upon his last two performances.
The only thing I wanted to see, other than a McCaffrey touchdown, was Eric Bieniemy's offense. To get a chance to see EB's real offense with a veteran quarterback running it. And we didn't get a chance to see that. And spoiler, we're not going to see it this week because Ron already named the starter, even though he didn't want to tell us on Tuesday because he thought it gave an advantage to the Cowboys. I don't know who he's trying to kid. I mean, Ron's got jokes on the way out the door, but it is what it is. But it was frustrating because Terry is so close to breaking a couple records here. I mean, you have some guys that have been non-existent. We talked about it last show. Jahan has disappeared other than when Jacoby comes in. And it would have been nice to actually see that happen and see, where are we really deficient when the new guys come into town? Do we really need to do some stuff? And it was actually David Aldridge was on. I want to say he was on with B. Mitch and Finley, probably. And he was talking about, now it was with someone else, regardless, that most coaches, they would not have drafted a Jahan Dotson because he has the same skill set as a Terry McLaurin. He's got the same skills that your other number one wide receiver has. They would have drafted a complementary guy, maybe a guy that's bigger, a guy with some size, and they didn't do that. So I can definitely see where David's coming from. And it would just be nice to see, hey, is this another pick that Ron had in the first round that's just not panning out? I mean, Chase is gone. And we're not going to get to see that because Sam's going to start this weekend.
Well, did we sign Jahan after Terry got his money, or was it that same year?
Well, he's on his rookie deal. So, I mean, and we'll get a fifth-year option on Jahan. So, we'll figure it out. He's not going anywhere anytime soon.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, remember, they were, if I'm not mistaken, there was a debate on whether we were going to sign Terry for a long-term deal, and was that the same year that we signed Jahan, thinking that possibly Jahan could be Terry's replacement, is what I'm thinking. Because I don't remember the exact dates, but I think it was around that same time frame, and then finally they went ahead and paid Terry the money. If it was the same year, I could be wrong.
So it's 2023. Terry got his extension last year. So, it was the same year.
Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking, that we signed Jahan thinking that possibly that we need an insurance package for a policy for Terry. And so because of that, and then Terry got his money. So, yes, I do agree with you as far as they basically have the similar skill set.
Well, I mean, same thing with Curtis Samuel. They're all the same small, shifty wide receivers, and you don't have that big body to go up. I mean, someone to just change it up, and like an A.J. Brown or like a Debo or someone like that. And, it's just so I wanted to see that this weekend. So literally, I had nothing to root for on Sunday because I wasn't pulling for us to win.
And parlay.
My parlay went and crap the bed because McCaffrey. I mean, I don't think we saw anything versus the Niners because I don't think Shanahan wanted to show anything. He
Yeah.
almost treated it like a preseason game because he didn't want to show, and he didn't need to show any
No.
plays or anything to beat us. And it's the point now where they've won. So Sam Darnold is actually going to be starting for them this week against the Rams. And guess who's playing for the Rams this Sunday?
Don't tell me Carson Wentz.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Carson is
man.
starting for the Rams on Sunday. So it'll be interesting. And, not going to watch, not going to care. I mean, they moved our game to 425, which
pisses
makes
me
this
off.
hurt even more. You're just extending our misery for another 4 hours. So, it is what it is. It's annoying. But speaking of annoying, did you get your season ticket holder rally chain?
No.
Did you see what they look like?
Yes.
I'm pissed, man. Where are you going to wear that? At least if it was a Commander's W or something, you can rock that to an away game, wherever. I almost feel like you hacked the 3D printer and you changed up the design because you didn't want anyone else rocking a W like you, even though those W's are like a lowercase W compared to yours. Yours is like 75 font and these are like 12.
Hey, you know what, man? I actually see. I didn't think that I was supposed to get one because I thought the only way that you were to get a chain is if you renewed before that date. Well, I opted to extend mine out, so I didn't think that I was going to get one. And then I got a text message from staff saying, "Hey, you come by and pick up your chain," and I got it late. By the time I got the message, I was like, "Well, I can't make that. I'm already obligated to down my trek that I'm doing, so I couldn't make it." But I didn't think I was even scheduled to get one. But so be it.
No offense to staff, I got the same. I'm not missing the game to go grab that thing, so it'll be there later or it won't. But it's just so those that don't know, I'll put a picture up on the YouTube and make sure you guys are watching the YouTube, at least subscribing to the YouTube because it takes a lot to actually put this thing up. So please make me feel better and watch this thing. But it just says 2024, I think, season ticket holder or season ticket member. I mean, I don't think there's anything Commanders on it. It's just burgundy and gold. So if you don't know what you're looking for or what it is, you'd have no idea that it's a Commander's chain. I mean, why limit it to that? Why do that? Why not at least just steal from your game and make it something that shows it's a Washington chain?
Everyone's stolen from me already enough,
I
Ted.
know, man. I mean,
I'm already in the lab. I'm already in the lab about to come up with something new. I just got to do it because they say flattery, is
imitation. I got you.
Imitation. I don't want that, So I got to come up with something else now to just to be me because everyone wants to wear a big W now, and I've seen a couple that are out there, and it's just like, guys, come on, come up with your own idea, But hey, it is what it is. More power to you, and I'll have to come up with my own thing. So,
well, I'm seeing people dressed up not exactly as hog farmers, but they're wearing the overalls. So there were a couple times when I texted our boy Jeff, hog farmer Jeff. It's like, hey, is this guy in your group? It's like, I guess people are just getting the overalls, and that's like a new thing. And all of a sudden, I saw it on an NFL commercial where other teams had it, and I had no idea that I don't dress up for games. I go in there in my tailgate Ted jersey.
Yeah.
And that's it. I'm not a face painter. No offense to anybody that does that. More power to you. I got enough stuff to deal with trying to get the tailgate cleaned up and getting in on time and not missing kickoff. It's just not me. And I'm thinking, oh, well, I can at least be like, Rally Junior with my chain, but I'm not wearing that thing, man. That thing is going to hang from the rearview mirror of my tailgate van, and that is it.
Let me tell you something. Now, I do like the chain. The chain is blinged out. I will give them that. But so speaking of back, I'm from old school, so we called it biting. So I had my rally captain hat, And now I know you've seen the captain's hats that they're selling now.
No.
Yeah.
They have a rally captain hat?
They came up with a captain's hat. And I said, I'll be done. I can't have anything, bro. I can't
You gotta
have
send me a picture of this, man. That I just what does it say on the hat?
it has the W and it looks like my dude. That's all I'm gonna tell you. Uh, that's all I'm gonna tell you, man. When I first saw it, I was like, I said, "Are you kidding me?"
I gotta see
So
a picture of this.
yeah, I was the first one with the chain, actually, with the Redskin emblem, the big emblem, and then everyone, including colleges, started doing it, and it just took off. And like I said, I can't get paid for it, obviously, because I don't have the trademark rights to it or anything like that. But if it ain't one thing, it's another, man. Yeah, I'm sure if you Googled NFL captain's hat, it will pop right up. I guarantee you. Washington Commanders NFL hat or whatever have you. Oh, I see it.
This right here. Okay. Yeah, they're definitely stealing that from you. They actually have it for all the teams, though.
I don't give a rat's ass what they got.
And I think she actually looks cuter in it than you do. So I might give it to her. But yeah, that's fun, man. No, that is definitely biting on your thing, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, I
So
don't got to worry about that. I don't got anyone rocking chef coats in the games. So I should be at least somewhat good on my end.
don't be surprised. Somebody's gonna do it just because you said it.
No, there are some people that go in there and try and do their whole tailgate thing. And it's fine. I'm not trying to compete. Please.
Yeah.
So it's a suggested donation of $10 to $20 a person, right? We
Mhm.
had 165 people come out. No joke. We had, I think it was $1,236 in that tip jar. So if you just do the math, it doesn't equate. Luckily, I had a feeling that was going to happen. So I'm economical when it comes to shopping and buying my stuff. So we cleared $300 that we're able to use to donate to the charity that we're actually sponsoring this month. But it just drives me crazy. I found 14 cents in the tip jar. I don't know who put 14 cents in there. But at that point, I want to Venmo that person $10 because they need that 14 cents more than me if they couldn't actually stick an entire dollar in there. Because it's just, I'm not doing this to feed you guys. We're doing this to raise money for charity and help people out around the DMV. And I know I did not approve a bunch of Niners fans, but it was a skeleton tailgate crew. We had my boy Tim that was up in Jersey with me and Caitlin, and that was it. So we had people walking up probably that weren't supposed to, just grabbing stuff. And that didn't happen this Sunday. If you are wearing silver and blue, I have a list and a board with your name on it to make sure that you got approved because you are not walking up there and dropping in your blood money. I don't care if it's going to a good cause. You ain't welcome this week.
And that just goes back to the whole dislike of the Cowboys, no matter what. So obviously, I want us to always win. Make no bones about it. This is the first week, and I hate to say it, and I'm not gonna say it. Actually, I'm not gonna say it.
Jerry said it for you. You're good.
All right, just give me a good game. Don't let them blow us out. That's all I ask for.
We're 13.5-point dogs again at home for what? 2 touchdown dogs for the second week in a row. I mean, we got Dallas coming to town. They've got everything to play for. We've got nothing to play for. And I get it. There's going to be fans out there that can say, hey, Sam beat them last year, and they were playing for something last year. Any given Sunday. I get it. But from my standpoint, we have the second pick in the draft right now. Chicago has the first. We don't know what Chicago is going to do. They got that in a trade with the Panthers. So Chicago, they could stick with Justin Fields, or they may not, and they may want a quarterback. But regardless, we could have one of the top 2 quarterbacks in the draft if we lose on Sunday.
Yeah.
There's also a chance that if we lose and the Patriots lose, it comes down to strength of schedule. So strength of schedule wise, right now, we're tied with the Pats. Those that are wondering any of this, just go to tankathon.com. They have it for every single sport. Our strength of schedule is a 0.515. The Patriots is a 0.518. We're both 4-12. The Cardinals, because they beat the Eagles this past weekend, they're also 4-12. They were 3-12.
Mm-hmm.
So they move all the way down to 4th, even though they've got the same record as us and the Pats. But if we win, we could go to 5-12. Guess who also has 5 wins? The Giants, the Chargers, and the Titans. So we could potentially drop 7 spots from 2nd to 7th. And you got people out there that they don't want Caleb Williams because he was crying in the stands with his mom. Give me a freaking break. I mean, come on. It's okay to show emotion. It doesn't mean the kid's going to be a bad quarterback. I have my reservations about the kid just because I'm concerned about another DC homegrown kid coming back to DC just because it hasn't worked.
Well,
but,
go ahead.
No, shoot.
I was just going to say, I'm always concerned about these top-rated schools who have top-rated talent. You just make the quarterback look that much better, and then when you come to a depleted team, you don't look as good because you really have to put forth the effort. And generally speaking, it's always harder for them to be able to cope and adapt because we don't have all those stars that you had going up against everybody. So I'd almost rather somebody who maybe didn't play for a big school, but has the acumen of a true quarterback, because you really have to rely upon your talent and what you're seeing versus, oh, well, this guy is he's 10 paces faster than this other guy, or he's just that much bigger and he can just get, I that's what bothers me. And I'm always leery about quarterbacks that play for big schools like that, because it's just a lot of times when you have to go to I almost have to say an underprivileged team or an
look at
underrated.
Dwayne. Look at Haskins coming here. I mean,
it was tough for him.
Yeah. He had the one good year at Ohio State, and Caleb he's got 3 years there. But USC wasn't a world beater this year. They were 8-5. I mean, they went to the DirecTV Holiday Bowl, and Caleb didn't play. But I mean, he's got good stats. And we'll get into that as the time comes, get closer to the draft. But you've got people that are judging this kid and saying he shouldn't be it. But then there are others that are saying he's a can't miss. And you have a chance to potentially get him, or if someone else wants him or needs him, to then trade that pick for more bites of the apple. And I get
barter. Definitely, yeah.
I get that it's a crapshoot. I mean, the 49ers, they drafted, who was the guy? Trey Lance? And it didn't work out. So they've got Brock Purdy on their team. They traded Trey Lance to the freaking Cowboys, right? But guess what? They still had other pedigree on their team. They still have got other players on their team that actually build out that roster. And right now, our roster's weak. So if we have a chance to get the second pick, and I'm not saying we have to take that right there, but you have so many more chances to get it right from a NL perspective. And that's what I'm rooting for. And I get it's Dallas, man, but this game means nothing to me.
Okay. Well, going back to what you said, you just get that many more bites of the apple, and that's what we need. We need as many bites because we're starving. we need to get full. We really do, and so we need as many bites as we can possibly get, because it may not happen in a year, it may not happen in 2 years, but then again, you just never know. It may happen, so we gotta let it play out.
The last time we picked this high, believe it or not, was Ron Rivera's first year. He came in, we had the second pick in the draft, and we used it on Chase. He's not even on the team anymore. All right. It's just, and you have fans that are saying, well, we're just going to mess the pickup anyway. You guys got to stop thinking like that.
That was the old regime.
Yeah.
It's completely different. Yeah, we're gonna have this is gonna be an overhaul of this team and this staff and management. I mean, we're not even sure if Jason Wright's going to be here or not. I mean, I think he will be, but truthfully, no one knows. No one knows what's going to happen after January 8th.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I don't think we're going to get a GM right away. I think come January 8th, it's going to be Black Monday. I think Ron's going to be gone. The junkies were talking about today. Do you think Bieniemy is going to get fired? And I don't know if they'll let Bieniemy go on the 8th because he's still under contract and they might want to interview him. And I hope it's not just to get the Rooney Rule out of the way.
Oh, yeah.
He is a minority candidate, and who knows, they might want the new GM to make up his own mind. But I'm on record. I don't want Bieniemy as a head coach. I mean, Sam, in that game, in the first half of that game, Sam was 9 for 13 with 100 yards and a touchdown and no sacks, had 117.5 quarterback rating. He looked decent. We weren't down by a ton. I mean, we had a chance in that game, which was actually surprising. It was what, 15? No, what was the score in the first half? Just going back and looking.
Was it 10-0?
No, it was 13-10.
13-10.
Half.
Okay. Okay, so, first half. Yeah.
Yeah, you're going into the
not
locker
first
room.
Quarter. Yeah.
Yeah, first half. That was 10-0 first quarter. Yeah, 13-10. You go into the locker room, you're down by 3, but then here comes Eric Bieniemy. No, B-Rob's averaging 6 yards a carry. Well, we got to stop that. You know, Sam's only thrown the ball 13 times. Well, we got to stop that. I mean, we got unbalanced. And next thing you know, B-Rob had 6 carries in the first half for 33 yards, averaged 5.5. He had 9 total for the game. We just completely went away from the running game again. And I get that San Fran scored again, but they only got a touchdown in the third quarter. So, okay, you're down 20-10. That's not insurmountable. You know, you can still come back from that because you were getting some stops, but yet EB just, I don't get his play calling. I don't get his methodology. I don't understand really what he tries to do other than put this kid in bad situations. And Sam would have gotten benched if Jacoby's phantom hamstring wasn't bothering him. I mean, I really think that Sam would have had his ass sat down.
Yeah, I think so. If any other game, the phantom hamstring would have gone away. The other thing that surprised me, Ted, is I was surprised that B-Rob played because there was this big whoop to do about Jared Patterson, and I really was looking. It was so weird because DraftKings. Every time I would look, I never saw Jared Patterson. I saw Brian Robinson, and I was saying to myself, okay, why are they trying to pull a wool over people's eyes to see if they're not paying attention, they'll put a bet in for them. But they clearly knew something that we didn't know because Jared Patterson was nowhere on DraftKings, but Brian Robinson was. So, I said, okay, when are they going to update it? When are they going to update it? When are they going to update it? And they never did. And he started, and I was really shocked.
I don't think they actually activated Jared off the practice squad. I got to double check and see. I think he might. Yeah, he's still on the practice squad. So they never activated him. So that would probably be why they never made that move for him at that point, because he's still on the practice squad. Yeah, looking at it right now. But I was shocked, man, because I had B-Rob on my fantasy squad and I was losing at that point. I needed every little point I could get. And I was like, damn, I kind of wish I would have started him and had no idea he was there. But, you know, you're walking 1,000 miles around the stadium and I'm out there cooking since 7 o'clock in the morning and definitely didn't see the announcement that B was going to play. No. And it was refreshing, man. He was running hard. It was just
the old B-Rob.
It was just so frustrating to see again that he got taken out. He ended up with 9 for 44, averaged almost 5 yards a carry. Pro Football Focus gave him from a rushing perspective, they gave him a 66.9 in his run grade, which isn't bad. I mean, but once again, we went away from the run. That's why I just don't try and fool people, because you have people that still hold out hope that Sam Howell is going to be QB1 down the road. I hate to break it to you guys, it ain't going to be him. And you got people still holding out hope that Bieniemy.
I don't think so.
sorry, people think that Bieniemy should take over as head coach. What has he shown you that says he can be a good head coach for this team?
The only thing that I told you, Ted, the only thing I think that he can stand on is give me an opportunity to pick my players that I want. And I can show you better than I can tell you. That's the only thing I think he can stand on at this point, if they want to look at him as being a coach. Other than that, it's hard because the owner would say, all right, coach, you got this horse that's running for you, and why'd you stop running them? And he's got to be able to answer those questions, because right now, as a fan base, we have no clue. Obviously, he knows, and he's the one that's going to have to answer these questions. And I would love to be on a fly on the wall to hear what he would have to say, because, like you said, he's done it a lot. So we got to figure out why.
Yeah. I almost wish it was like the congressional hearings we watched with
televised
Snyder and everything else. Like, if I'm a season ticket holder, televise your coach interviews, because I want to see who this guy is that you're bringing in. And I know it'll never happen.
No, but that can go on the suggestion panel.
Hey, you raise my season ticket prices, give me some more value out of it. Televise your interviews with our new head coach. Televise the interview with our new GM. Because the fact of the matter is, Sam Howell, who played one game the year prior, practically a rookie, is second in the NFL with pass attempts. Second to Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes is 597 attempts. Sam's at 585. So if your game plan was to make this kid throw more than almost every quarterback in the league to see if he can handle it, that's a poor game plan. And your ass should get carried out the day Ron gets carried out. And we'll see, but I don't think it's going to happen. And then from a GM perspective, I don't think we're going to actually find out who our new GM is going to be until probably after the playoffs, because you hope that they're going after a GM. They don't pull a Snyder. Snyder hired Rivera a year ago, basically on Tuesday, after he got fired mid-season. So he hired a losing coach. You hope that we bring in someone that is still playing in January, maybe into February. Not someone that's already sitting on the couch.
Okay. But for our viewers, you can see my fingers are crossed. Man, that's the only bright spot. It really is. Later this year, 2024, general manager, head coach, possible overseas game. Those are the bright spots. Player evaluation. Once again, that's what it all boils down to as well. I want to know who's picking the players, because we could have this second round pick and just have someone who just does not pick well on the squad, and we're right back to where we just were, where we just left. And that's what concerns me. Who's freaking picking the players? Who's the talent evaluator? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, that's really what everyone wants to know. But this is actually what Ron said he was most proud of. And maybe the GM doesn't have to worry about this one thing because Ron fixed it.
Ron, 4 years ago today, you were introduced as the head coach here in Washington. Kind of you look back here over the 4 years. What are you most proud of?
What we've done with the culture. I think that was one of the things that, somebody asked me the same question. I said, the biggest thing more than anything else, I think, is I kind of like where we are. It's obviously it's not where we want to be, but, that's just the nature of this game sometimes.
So at least the new GM doesn't have to worry about fixing the culture here, because it's so good Ron took care of it over his past 4 years.
Okay. I'm not going to say anything about that. Okay. That's the only thing I'm going to say. Okay. The culture at this juncture, I'd rather have, no, I can appreciate the culture. I can. But that doesn't translate a lot of times to bad boys on the football field, smash mouth football. And at this juncture, that's what I want. I want somebody who, as Dion said, came from a broken home. Remember Deion Sanders? He got criticized and ridiculed for that. But he said he'd rather have somebody on defense who didn't have a 2-parent home, who can go out there and who's mad at the world and wants to prove something. Well, if that's how we want to look at it, then give me that problem child. Give me that problem child who still understands right from wrong, but goes out there and does what he needs to do. That's what I'm looking for right now. I don't necessarily need a refined football player, who drinks tea with his pinky up. I don't need that. Give me that dog, and that's what we've been missing, and that's what we need. We need some dogs to really change that aspect of it and get down to nitty-gritty football.
Ron had nothing to do with Snyder getting ousted. The culture is better because Dan's gone. So the off the field piece is better. The on the field piece, I would say, is worse. The fact that all of his first round picks at this point don't look like they're panning out, and it's too early to tell on Forbes and Jahan sophomore slump, whatever. But odds are they're not going to take Jamin Davis's 5th-year option, so he's probably not going to be here. Chase isn't even on the roster. The only guys that are contributing really are guys that were picked by the previous regime. I mean, he has set this franchise back. From a culture perspective, okay, yeah, cheerleaders aren't getting harassed, but that was all Dan stuff, right? Yeah. All of the bad things that were happening was all because of Dan. And Ron had nothing to do with that changing. The Harris group did. And they came in, and now all that's been fixed. From a winning perspective, our roster, I think Terry, Tressway, and maybe Deron Payne are the only 3 players on our team that I think would maybe play for another one of these teams in the playoffs. I mean, do you think Terry is better than Ayuk or Debo? I don't think so. I would take those 2 over Terry.
Yeah. Well, to your point, I was almost going to say, Ted, that coming into this 2024 season, I don't think anybody's safe. I think that if the numbers jive and you can get something for every player that we have, that everything's on the table. And I hate to say that because I do like the guys that are playing, but at the same time, Jonathan Allen said it. He understands that it's a business and that anyone can be up for auction. And I really don't see anyone being safe, so to speak. I really don't.
I agree with you. And if Terry made a comment after talking about the culture in San Francisco, and I'm just so tired of hearing that word. It's so overplayed. Everyone just talks about it, how it's better, but it means nothing. We have a culture of losing here in DC. And it's going to take some time to get that taste out of our mouths. Once again, it's January. We're playing Dallas, and we've got nothing to look forward to as a fan base. We haven't had meaningful games this part of the season in a very long time. We've lost now possibly going on 8 games in a row for the second time since Shanahan happened. This is the first time that a quarterback has started the entire season since Kirk Cousins in 2017. And the only reason is because of the Phantom Hamstring that allowed Sam to start last week.
Yeah, that's something, man. That's just it speaks volumes. That the quarterback carousel that this squad has had, it speaks volumes. Now, I get it. You want to always try to bring in somebody who you think is going to get it done, but they've all pretty much have struck out.
Ron went on this long thing during his press conference when Nikki Javala asked him about quarterback and this and that. And to paraphrase, he basically said, if Alex Smith never gets hurt, Ron never gets hired because Jay Gruden wins with Alex and Ron doesn't get the job here and there's no opening. And I'm not going to refute that. I think he's right. I don't think that things go as bad as they did when Alex got hurt and then everything with Dwayne and everything else. But he picked this roster. He chose these guys, and he's got no one to blame but himself. And this is actually what Ron said about is the franchise is in a better place now than before he took over.
Ron, again, if there are changes after Sunday, do you feel like you've left the franchise in better hands than when you found it?
Well, I'd like to think we're in a better place. It's probably a fair way to say it. I most certainly do appreciate my time here, and we'll see what happens. And again, we'll focus in on what's coming first on Sunday, and that's getting ready for Dallas.
So I went back to look on December 31st, 2019, the NFL Power Rankings. Guess where Washington was back then?
You said 2019?
2019.
2019. I'll say we were high 20s.
Is that your final?
In 2019. No, 2019. No, we were actually halfway decent. I'll say 10.
No, in 2019, at the end of the year, in week 17, because I don't think we had, how many weeks were there back then? Regardless,
16.
we were 3 and 13 back then. And
I was way
we were
off.
30th. Yeah.
I
think
way
you were
off.
thinking 2020. But this is before Ron took over. So before Ron took over, we were 3 and 13. And then Ron got hired. Basically, I am at Redskins Park. And I'm about to do a segment with Larry Michael. And I sent out a tweet. And I got in trouble for it because I said, I wonder if Ron Rivera likes lamb chops. Because Ron was at the facility. And it wasn't official that he'd been hired yet. And Larry got pissed off at me. And I had Commanders or Redskins PR saying, why'd you? It's like, I was just asking an honest question. I didn't say he was the coach. And I didn't actually have a picture of Ron up in it. You couldn't see Ron there. It was just me cooking in the parking lot. Yeah. They got pissed off. But regardless, we were 30th in the NFL Power Rankings back then at 3 and 13. Now, at whatever the hell our record is now, it's so bad, I'm trying to block it out. We are 4 and 12. Guess where we are?
Probably 30th.
No, that'd be good. We're 31st. And it's saying here, we've watched Sam Howell crest and fall multiple times. And another strange week was a nice little encapsulation of his strange season. Howell was benched heading into week 17 after being outplayed by Jacoby Brissett. Then Brissett suffered a hamstring injury later in the week, and Howell was reinserted as a starter against the 49ers. Howell actually responded to the challenge well, at least early on, looking poised and confident while completing 9 of his 13 passes for 100 yards and a touchdown in the first half. But his propensity for turnovers reemerged after halftime when he threw 2 ill-advised picks, the first of which came in the fourth quarter when Washington was threatening to make it a one-score contest. Instead, the 49ers turned Howell's interception into a 27-10 lead, and his second pick pretty much sealed up the Commanders' loss. Whoever is calling the shots for Washington next season likely won't accept the poor ball security we've seen from Howell, who hasn't gone more than one game without a pick all year. So I'd say we're in a worse spot. And that's just me, maybe recency bias, but at least we had Trent Williams and Brandon Sheriff and Morgan Moses and some studs on our offensive line. Right now, we've got, other than Sam Cosme, a bunch of journeymen that are here. And I don't know if Leno's going to be here next year. I don't know if some of these guys are even going to be around next year. I think Gates will be just because of his contract. But other than that, I mean, you had Trent Scott coming in. And actually, he didn't do that bad a job trying to – did you see him run towards you after that interception as fast as he possibly could to get that tackle? And next thing you know, the guy was down by contact all the way on the other side of the field. So he sprinted for nothing.
No, I didn't see that. I probably had my head down.
I don't know if you went up to the suite to go hang out with your pinky up people or not. So
no, I did not. I stayed in my seat.
It was good to see, though, some of these guys getting in there and doing some different stuff. It's just frustrating because And let me know if you guys agree. Are we in a better place after Ron has steered this ship for 4 years, or in a worse place than before he took over? Because I'd like to know what our listeners think. And a lot of them chimed in.
Well, I got to tell you, based upon what we've heard, he went from riverboat to tugboat. So I'm going to have to say no.
Yeah, I mean, from a winning percentage and everything else, it's just we're not that much better. We luck box our way into the playoffs because the Eagles wanted a better draft pick. And shocker, teams do that. And it's okay. And some of our listeners, this one, Shane Peacher chimed in. And the question we asked was, do you want to win versus Dallas? Knowing that it could potentially hurt our draft position. Do you want to win? It's Dallas week. And Shane chimed in and said, nope, a win against the Cowboys, even though I hate them, means nothing. They're still going to the playoffs regardless, and that pick is more important than any meaningless win, Dallas or not. And Lindsey York said no. And I got one here from a buddy. Says, I always want us to play to win, especially against Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
Billy Peter Martin, can't let the Cowboys win the division. So I'd say the fan base, just depending, is somewhat split. You know, we got a guy here, Dylan Wallace. I pray we lose. Why would I risk missing on a generational talented quarterback just to beat the Cowboys for S's and giggles? Losing will ensure we have a brighter future and a better chance of bringing home the Lombardi to DC. And I think that's kind of where some people hate Dallas so much.
Yeah.
That I get it, but to me, the rivalry is dead. Can it be resuscitated? Yes, but they are a better team than us. And I actually feel that Philly is closer a rival because we played them tougher. We haven't played Dallas tough the past how many seasons?
We haven't. Who won the division last year, Ted?
The Eagles. And
so the streak of the NFC East repeating their division champs is still going strong then. So
the Cowboys have the tiebreaker over the Eagles. If they both win on Sunday, the Cowboys will win the division because of one of the times. I can't remember exactly which one it is.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, the Cowboys have a better conference record than the Eagles. So the Eagles are playing, I want to say, the Giants, and the Cowboys are playing us. Odds are they're both going to win on Sunday. Not trying to, be Debbie Downer, just being realistic. If you guys listen to the show, you know that's what we are.
Yeah.
So that means the Cowboys win the division. That means they're guaranteed a home game. And that means Jerry Jones will pay the refs again to make sure his team wins at least a game in the playoffs. And it sucks, but man, I can't. To me, it's about the future. It's about the long term for this franchise. It's about rebuilding faster and getting a
the
chance.
Right way. The correct, the right way with smart-minded people, great talent evaluators, and bring in some dogs. Bring in a junkyard dog. We need it. We need it.
You ever you watched that movie, The Program, back in the day?
Yeah.
You remember Latimer?
I don't remember the name, but
the linebacker guy that was on. I think he was a linebacker. He was on steroids.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just, obviously he was on steroids. He was angry. Definitely didn't work out. But, bring me that guy, just not on steroids.
Yeah.
Bring me that guy that is just
that mentality.
Just angry SOB that nobody wants to mess with. Our team is soft. We had that on offense with Trent Williams. Nobody wanted to mess with Trent. And seeing him just in 49ers gear over there and seeing how happy he is, I'm happy for him, but it just makes me sad, man. We let a future Hall of Famer just leave our team.
Let him go. Yeah.
And we don't have an identity. We need an identity. I mean, the Dolphins' identity, they're track stars. They're running up and down the field and just putting up points. It's the new greatest show on turf. The Ravens, they've always had that badass defense.
Yeah.
We don't have one at all. And it would be nice if this new GM, when they have these meetings that I would love to, stream on the Commanders YouTube, because they can't even get their post-game show on a TV station. It'd be nice if that GM told us what our new identity is going to be. Because if you remember, Bieniemy said, when they came here that we were going to be a run-first team. Well, that went out the window the second the season started.
He needs to have one of those commercials with the red flag.
Oh, yeah.
And hey, instant replay. Do you remember you said that? I never said that. Oh, throw the flag and let's look at the tape. Yeah, you did. So it's got to be changed.
There was. And I remember being pissed off when he said that because it's just not the NFL nowadays. But in hindsight, I wish he was at least half true because we couldn't even be further from the truth when it comes down to rushing attempts. And yeah, part of that's because our defense sucked and we were down in games. But not to beat a dead horse, just going into Sunday, I asked you, what are two reasons that you're looking forward to the game on Sunday? Maybe it can help our listeners so they can look forward to the game on Sunday.
My two reasons, Ted, it's the last game of the season, and I'm looking forward to a new regime. I'm not even worried about this game. As much as I want to beat the Cowboys, I know I'm contradicting myself, but I'm looking past this game. Because as we said, it doesn't mean anything. But I still, in my heart, that's just me. In my heart, I want to beat the Cowboys. But the two things I'm looking forward to is the season being over and what's coming right after that. That's what I'm looking forward to.
So you're looking forward to that fat lady singing, the clock striking triple zeros, and it being done. Me, I didn't go there exactly. There's certain people on this team that you feel bad for. Terry McLaurin is one of them for me. I said it during one of our shows when he was doing his contract negotiations. Like, I don't feel that we deserve a good player like Terry because he has been through hell with his franchise and he's wasting his good years on this team. And I'm hoping we get this thing turned around in time so Terry can be a part of a winner. It's not fair that a player like Chase gets to go to the 49ers and wins the NFC and has a chance to play in the Super Bowl when we all know the type of player Chase was. He half-assed it here. He dogged it here to the point of we didn't care and just got rid of his ass for barely anything. While a guy that just busts his ass day in, day out, week in, week out, doesn't get the recognition and the rewards he deserves. But Terry needs 2 receptions to get 75 for the season. He'd be the first player in franchise history to record 4 consecutive seasons with 75-plus catches. So that's what I'm rooting for on Sunday. Terry needs 54 yards to be the first receiver in franchise history to record 4 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. So Sam, EB, you like to throw that ball as much as possible? Throw it every single time until Terry breaks those 2 records because he deserves it.
And then forfeit.
No, then just run the ball with Jarrett Patterson so Rally can get his bet in, and then we can make it to Monday, and then finally hit the end of this long, long road, man.
It's an arduous season. It's been rough. It really has been. But I wouldn't want to be anyplace else but with you guys. Hopefully, 2024, 25. The results will be different. And I hear the music playing, which lets me know as I wrap it up every week that we're bringing this show to an end. And that sounds like Boys to Men, end of the road.
We're here, man. We're almost there.
We are almost there. So thank you guys for listening. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button if you haven't done so. It does help us out. It helps our sponsor letting us know that, hey, we just aren't blowing smoke up his butt, that we do have listeners and viewers. So I'll see you guys at Fedex Field Sunday. Although a lot of you already sold your tickets. You've already sold them. I've seen all the messages. You're not going, no big deal. But the fact is, I will see those who decided to come in the house. So, Rally Captain, Tailgate Ted, thank you guys for listening. You rep it hard. You don't rep it at all. We're out.